Underneath the city lights, there is a world few know about, where rules don't apply, no. And you can't keep a good girl down. Looking for a good time, gonna make that shake that money on a dime. Don't need a sugar daddy, she can work it just fine. Up on the table, she'll be dancing all night. All night. Baby, now just come to life. Under the spotlight, all the girls wanna fall in line.
Hi, and welcome to Bespoke Dance Education. Today we're going to talk about hypermobility in dance injuries in various dance forms, including ballet, jazz, and ballroom. In order to discuss this, I have a dancer here. Her name is Skylor. Hi, Skylor.
Hi.
And Skylor has danced since she was very young and has also sustained several injuries throughout her life. Recently, she has a knee injury that she'll discuss, and also she's hypermobile, so she will be a great example to demonstrate the issues that hypermobile dancers have and the injuries they can sustain throughout their lifetime. To begin, Skylor, would you please just tell us about yourself, your background, and how you got to be this amazing dancer that you are?
So I started dancing around the age of 4. I was trained in about every style there was. My primary focus was jazz dancing, competitive jazz dancing. So, and then I started ballroom dancing around the age of 16. So.
Nice. And now you're teaching ballroom as well, mainly, right?
Yes.
Great. And when you were dancing, can you tell me a little bit about how you were trained? How were the processes do you have any injury prevention seminars? Did you get any instruction on how to be safer when you danced?
I would say the opposite, probably. So when we were training, it was very disciplined, but not necessarily in the right ways. So there was a lot of exercises we did as a form of punishment in a way, and not necessarily in a way of preventative measures. So anything that I did, there was technique training on how to make it look better, but not necessarily on how can it be better for your body. So, and a lot of stretching very quickly. A 5-minute stretch, now we're gonna dance for 6 hours nonstop, full out. So.
Yeah, now there's more elements that are implemented in the training for many studios, but it's been like 20, 30 years in the making by dance educators, by dance scientists, just to try and make that a trend in a lot of the studios. And still a lot of the traditional studios don't have those kind of training, don't have that education. So, speaking a little bit about hypermobility, I don't know, show us your elbow or your knee, just to show what does your elbow bend like this, for example?
A lot of stuff I've trained luckily out of me. So I used to have just, especially in my joints and my shoulder, really bad. You can see like now, like things still pop, and yeah, it doesn't hurt, I promise. So luckily I've had a lot of training over the years because of injuries that have made me a lot less hypermobile in a good way.
Yeah, and generally this kind of bodies need strength training. So if you have any hypermobile dancers, train them in disciplines like Pilates, floor bar, even without much weight, but keeping them to training within the range, so never allowing it to go to the maximum capacity. Like I'm not hypermobile at all, like my knees don't bend over, but for people like Skylor, it's absolutely necessary because usually they have a shallower socket. So the joint basically allows the bone to move around more than it should, and that's really difficult when you're trying to, let's say, land from a jump or try and finish an extension without injuring yourself, especially when you have any weight-bearing things, right? So things like conditioning with imagery, like which we discussed last time, can help. Like I said, Pilates, or any kind of training that focuses on strength rather than flexibility. And right now you're also injured, Skylor, right?
I am. It's very fun. Yes. I have a knee injury right now, which is caused by lots of problems. My main problem is, though, I'm learning how to still strengthen my body. Every injury you get stronger and stronger because you learn how to strengthen the parts of your body. But the problem is when you're growing up and you don't understand how, when you're growing to strengthen your body, you end up having a lot of injuries later, which is now what I'm dealing with now that I'm in my 20s. I'm dealing with a lot of stuff that I was doing when I was 10, 11. So right now I have a knee injury and I'm trying to learn. My muscles are very flexible and I'm doing lots of things in ballroom that require a lot of speed. And my muscles are not firing and catching my weight fast enough because of how flexible I am. So I'm having to learn how to strengthen my muscles and actually avoid stretching right now in order to get my body where it needs to be so my knee can heal.
Yeah, absolutely. That's another important thing to understand, is that when the muscle is stretched to its almost maximum capacity, it doesn't fire as quickly, so the muscle spindles cannot respond. That also happens when you are not necessarily hypermobile, but you're stretching, and if you try to dance right away after, it's going to actually make you more prone to injury because your body doesn't have the same response rate as when you're warm. So keep that in mind, that old adagio of like we've stretched before we dance shouldn't be a thing anymore. It's not in most studios, but if you're still doing it, I would urge you to rethink that. We have a course now on dance injuries at Bespoke. You can contact us, or you can take a look at the website if it's something that you're interested in. And also things like conditioning with imagery to actually help you strengthen that, which is based on scientific principles and focuses on this kind of area of strength and development for different types of dances with safe stretching involved. So just as a final thought, what would you recommend to young dancers or dance teachers who are dealing with hypermobile dancers like yourself?
Start strength training. That's the biggest advice I can give. I know for me growing up too, that strength training was looked at something like that was going to make you bulky, that was going to make you not look like a dancer. So I avoided any kind of strength and weight training. Do it. Like, you're going to thank yourself a few years down the line. And it will make you a better dancer. That's one thing. When I started getting stronger, my dancing started getting better. So I wish that was something somebody would have told me 10 years ago. So don't just stretch, and definitely don't do anything not warmed up. Make sure your body's warm, and don't be afraid to pick up a weight and start training yourself now.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Skylor. You guys can find the links to my website. We'll put a link for Skylor as well, for her Instagram, or if any other things that you would like. And we'll see you in the next episode. Thank you.